Right, let's do it. I'm going to join in. Ugh, I'm sure I'll take a layer off soon. For those that wanted Pilates bar or bar fitness, I'll do like a 10-minute little excerpt this afternoon sometime when I'm after my snack. Whilst I'm at the kitchen bench, I'll record something for us. Okay, let's do it. So, have a lie down on your back for me. So you're going to bring your feet into a parallel position or a train track position. Oh, and let me just make sure I'm recording the right screen. All right. Okay, let's do it. So you're going to lie down onto your back and bring your feet into a parallel position. I want the outside edges of your feet to be nice and straight. A little bit hard to sense when you can't look at them, but think of where your mat is or your towel and line the outside edges of your feet with that mat or towel. Might make you feel a little bit turned in, but see if you can put weight through the heel bone and the big toe. Keep the knees pointing upwards rather than letting them fall in. And then we're going to go very basic, back to basics, just to focus on our breath. Bring your thumbs together, fingers down to make a triangle, and then place that on your pelvis. So your fingers are resting towards your pubic bone and your hands are on your hip bones. Let your arms relax, let your head relax, and take a moment just to feel what's contacting the floor. So where on your feet is contacting the floor, your pelvis, your ribs, your shoulder blades, maybe your elbows and your skull. As you take an inhale, feel your ribs and your belly increase. And as you exhale, feel those points of contact melt into the floor. And take another inhale. Feel that diaphragm, the rib cage circumferentially increase, and exhale, melt into the floor. On your next inhale, just have a sense of what happens at the pelvis. And as you exhale, and again, as you inhale, now start to move with the body. So you're going to rock your pelvis forwards as you inhale and rock your pelvis back as you exhale. That triangle of your pelvis is going to point forward in between your knees, and exhale, it's going to roll back towards you. That's it, a couple more like that. So as you inhale, rolling your pelvis forwards. And as you exhale, rolling your pelvis back. One more, inhale, roll your pelvis forwards, and really keeping everything nice and heavy and relaxed. Exhale, roll your pelvis back. On the next one, inhale, roll your pelvis forward. Exhale, roll your pelvis back and start to roll your bottom up off of the ground, finding one bone lifting at a time. Pause here with the bottom off the ground, the feet in that train track position. If you feel like you feel it too much in your hamstrings, you may have overshot the feet. Bring the feet back slightly. You want to make sure your knees are darting forward and over the toes, so there's that feeling of drawing the knees away from the body, just to give us a little bit more traction through the body. And our ribs are still nice and soft here. So it's not a big yoga extension. We're keeping this nice and soft to maintain that lumbar flexion. So with this position, see if you can relax the muscles a little bit more. Let the pelvis fall back towards you. Check that we're not gripping anywhere. You should start to feel a little bit of warmth through your bottom. Shouldn't feel anything in your lower back. You should be able to breathe quite easily here. Check in with your knees. Make sure your knees are still in line with your toes and they haven't started to fall outwards. So we've got that little bit of inside thigh connection. And you're going to breathe in here. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. As you exhale, start to roll down one bone at a time. Delay your pelvis. Don't let your pelvis move until it has to come down to the floor. Inhale here. Exhale, roll yourself back up, one bone at a time. We're going to pause in this posture here. Inhale, take the arms above the head, over the head towards the floor. Exhale, roll down through your pelvis, delaying the bottom, so working one bone at a time. And inhale, float the arms down. Exhale, roll the bottom up. Pause, inhale, float the arms. Exhale, roll down. Inhale, arms down. Good, a couple more like that. Rolling the bottom up. Floating the arms up. Bottom comes down. And floating the arms down. I'm just going to send this link to a couple of people. Going to float that bottom back up. And then the arms go up. And then the bottom goes back down. And the arms go down. Good, one more. Arms, bottom, and arms. Okay, so the next bridge we're going to do, you're going to roll that bottom up. You're going to hold here in your bridge. Keep finding that relaxation into the lower back so that the pelvis just rolls naturally there. You might find a little stretch on the hip flexors. Keep aiming to send that weight out rather than compressing into the head and neck. Now, in this position, you're going to think of your pelvis being on a typewriter or a skateboard, whichever works for your generation. You're going to slide your pelvis over to the left, over to the right, come back into the center, and then drop down one vertebra. So your pelvis will go over to the one side, back over to the other side, into the center, and drop down one level. Now you've got a couple of vertebrae between your ribs and your pelvis, so you're really going to think of one vertebra moving at a time. I'm just going to, there we go. So moving your pelvis to one direction, the other direction, back into the center. To the bottom, you're going to go up again and go to the other side. And this is a really nice little glide mobilization as you roll down. Okay, so once you've done both sides, you're going to complete that process again. So you're going to roll up one bone at a time. You're going to shift to one side, shift to the other side, come back into the center, and drop one bone. Trying not to squeeze anything. We are keeping in mind that our pelvis stays nice and square. That's it. Over to one side, over to the other side, back to center, down one segment, over to one side, over to the other side, back to center. Obviously still breathing. And just feel if there's any restrictions. One side might be really easy. The other side might be a little bit tighter or stiffer. There might be some restrictions there. And by now that bottom should be working a little bit harder. But there shouldn't be any issues with the lower back to do this. So if so, come down way low and find that position. You're going to roll up one bone at a time, and this time we're going to go over to the other side first. That's it. Oh dear. There we go. So over to one side, over to the other side, back in the center and down, over to one side, over to the other side, back to the center and down. Good, keep going. That's it. So we should sort of be down to here by now. Low tummy. Nice one. And down. And one more. Side to side. Back to center. And down. Great. Now that we've done some of those bridges, what you're going to do is take one hand, both of your hands behind one knee. Doesn't matter which knee. Just remember which one you do so that you can do the other side. So as your hands behind that knee, I want you to send your thigh bone into your hands. Bend your elbows a little bit, almost like a first position, but keep that shape. Don't let them straighten, don't let them forcibly bend. So keep that same shape through your elbows, hands behind the knee, and you're going to press the knee into the hands almost so much that you start to curl up through those ribs. That place that I asked you to soften the ribs in your bridges, that's where you're going to move from. So the little press into the thigh bone and really paying attention to what happens at the pelvis. There shouldn't be any curl or tuck here. You want to keep this nice and steady. That little press and the little lower. Inhale, little press, almost like you're doing an ab curl and coming down. And again, little press and coming down. And little press, and you're going to hold here. That's it. Now, if it's available, I want you to keep that feeling there and take one hand behind the head, thumb points down your neck, elbow forward in front of you. If you wish, you can take that other hand behind the head as well. Now, from here, what I want you to do is roll on your shoulder blades towards your thigh bone. Wherever your thigh bone is, you're going to roll on your ribs towards your thigh bone and then roll back into your center. And again, rolling towards your thigh bone. Staying up in that little chest lift, keeping your pelvis nice and steady as well. Back to center. Remember, anytime you could just be holding here, pressing in that thigh bone, rolling on your ribs, and coming back to center. From here, we're going to place the hands back behind the thigh, float the leg up into a tabletop, and then change sides. From here, lower yourself back down, steady your pelvis, inhale, pause, exhale, roll the ribs back up and around, leading with the leg. Inhale at the top, exhale, roll yourself back down. Inhale, pause, exhale, roll yourself up. Inhale, pause, exhale, roll yourself back down. One more, inhale, roll yourself back up. That's it. Pausing. You can always keep holding your leg. If you feel anything in your neck, you can grab your mat or towel and hold your head up this way so that your neck learns to relax and you learn to move from your ribs. Otherwise, your hands can go behind your head, interlace the fingers, thumbs point down, elbows pointing forward. You could always do one side if that feels more comfortable for you. So from here, you're going to roll on your ribs over to your leg and then come back into center. Rolling over to your thigh bone and back to center. One more, exhale, rolling on your ribs, keeping the eye line long, projecting out, back to center. Bring your hands back behind your thigh bone, float the other leg up into a tabletop position, no movement through your pelvis, find that spot that's velcroed to the floor, and bring both hands behind your thighs. That's it. Now from here, I want just a little shift out of those thigh bones, so your knees are going to move away from you. At the same time, that bend of the elbows stays the same. So you should feel like you start to rock forward almost into your sit bones, so coming towards the edge of your bottom. And again, if this is too much for the head and neck, make sure that we're actually holding our thigh bones and we're just coming along for the ride rather than holding our neck and head up. And relax down. You can always pop those hands behind the head if you wish and the feet down on the floor. Pressing away and coming up. This time, inhale here, exhale. Think of the feet having heavy lead boots coming down to the floor, straightening through the arms before you roll the chest over the sit bones and then rolling up one bone at a time. Now pause here and I want you to think of lifting the knees up to the sky. So your kneecaps are going to almost feel like they're floating off your thigh bones. And that should get your deep, deep, low hip flexors, low tummy muscles to switch on. So knee bones floating up towards the sky. Hands can stay underneath those thigh bones, and then when you're ready, float your heel bones off the ground. Keep feeling those knees lifting up. Float the toes almost just off the ground. You might need to rock back a little bit. Keep finding that little roll of your pelvis to do so. So think of scrolling your pelvis back, kneecaps lifting high. Continue that lift high. Find your little balance point. And then continue that roll down one bone at a time. Placing your sacrum on the floor until you find yourself on your back. Inhale here, and you're going to exhale, roll yourself, not that fast, nice and slowly back up. Now, at any time, you can come into more of a chest lift, or you can come all the way up into that assisted roll up. That's it, you can go slow. That's it, really good, nearly there. You're getting so good at that. Keep working on it. So it's that slow assisted chest lift, very difficult, but well worth it. Keep going and think of that little knee lift into the ceiling. Little knee lift, little knee lift. Yes, good. Nice, Marie. Well done. Good. So a couple more of those for me. Inhale, pause, exhale, roll yourself up into your assisted lift. Great. Once you find this nice round position, you're then going to roll up through your sacrum up to the crown of your head. Inhale, pause, and then exhale. Find that little lift first, kneecaps up towards the sky, and then rolling off of your sacrum, rolling yourself down, thinking of dragging your feet back through the mud, slowing you down, scooping out through the abdominals without squeezing. That's it. And then rolling yourself back up for one more. Great work. Well done. Okay, so once you're up in that sitting posture, you're going to roll onto your side. Choose a side. And I'm going to get you to bring your elbow onto the floor. Bend your knees, put your feet in line with your bottom and your ribs. So stack ourselves like a snowman. Hips, ribs, and head. Feet, hips, ribs, and head. So check down at your body and make sure your ribs are lined up with your pelvis. Place your hand underneath your armpit and almost just think of lifting your armpit up. Now, if you feel these muscles underneath your shoulder blade grabbing, I want you to see if you can let them go a little bit. So we're not pushing down to the ground too much. We've got that air underneath our armpit. Almost think there's a flashlight coming right out of the center of your armpit, and turn to face that flashlight forward. Again, minimal effort. Take your other arm up towards the sky, so top arm up. Inhale here. Exhale, take your hand and join your hand to your opposite elbow. So elbows and hands connect. You're aiming to create a little bit of pressure away from the floor, and feel your breath into the back of your ribs. Inhale, lift. Exhale, twist. Pause here, inhale, hold. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, twist. Pause, inhale, breath. Exhale, release. And then inhale, arm one more time. Exhale, twist. Good, inhale, pause here. Exhale, release. Nice one. Take your hand down behind your head, creating yourself a little bit of a pillow. Take your top hand on your pelvis and reach your top leg away to the wall. So your foot is nice and flat against the wall out in front of you. Pelvis is in neutral. So sit bones work down towards the wall, open up through the front of the hips, and you're trying to align those ribs and hips as well. So we've stacked our pelvis nice and square, and then from here, all you're going to do is reach the leg so far away that it starts to lift. That's it, and then lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. And exhale, lift. Most of you should feel that at the back of the bottom. Inhale, lower. 2 more, exhale, lift, keeping the ribs and hips connected. Exhale, lower. 1 more little lift and pause. So from here, all you're going to do is slide that foot, imagining it's on a table, slide it forward, and then slide it back. As you slide it back, really being conscious of what's happening at your pelvis and your ribs. You're going to take it forward as you inhale, exhale, take it back. Good, 3 more like that. Inhale, take it forward. Exhale, take it back. Inhale, take it forward. Exhale, take it back. 1 more, inhale, take it forward. Exhale, take it back. And come back into your center. And then from here, you've got 10 little pulses up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Nice and quiet pelvis. 3, 2, 1. Good. Hold at the top. And lower it back down. Nice work. From here, you're going to come back up onto that elbow. Take your top leg and place it on top of your bottom knee. You can use your hand here to secure your ankle if you wish to do so. Again, making sure that we're not squeezing down underneath our armpit. Stretch your bottom leg long out towards that same wall. So we're using the opposite leg now. From there, you're going to lift that leg. Hello, inside thighs. Where have you been today? So same thing, you're going to lift and you're going to lower. You have 4 more. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. 3 more. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. 2 more. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. 1 more. Exhale, lift. And hold. Take it forward and take it back. As you take it back, even more conscious here of what's happening above. And forward. And G out through that heel as you take it back. Good. All the shakes are starting for me. Exhale back. Good. 1 more. Exhale back. Hold it here. Keep that pelvis nice and relaxed. And little pulses up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Whew. Okay. Release those legs nice and long. Come up onto your hands and knees. Before we swap around to the other side, we're just going to do a little bit of spine articulation on our hands and knees. So hands underneath shoulders. I want you to spread your fingers nice and wide. Point your middle finger upwards. Make an L with the thumb and index finger. From there, almost imagine like your knuckles are suctioning away from the floor. So fingertips are nice and grounded. Creases of your elbows point towards each other, and then with your hands almost think about pressing them inwards towards each other. So you're trying to squash your mackerel towel inwards. You should feel that widening of your shoulder blades on your back. Back of your head is in line with the back of your body, or nose, chin and chest, all level to the floor. From here, I'm going to get you to inhale, lengthen your spine nice and long. Exhale, start with your tailbone, roll your pelvis under. Continue that ripple all the way up to your head, coming up into a nice long, arched. And then as you inhale, reverse. Take the eyes forward, the nose forward, the chin forward, the breastbone forward. Continue to find that breastbone coming forward into the wall in front of you, and then lengthen the sit bones, widen the sit bones away. Keep that curve nice and even. Sit bones pointing down towards the knee pits. Continue that ripple. Pubic bone almost comes forward in between the thigh bones. Find the low ribs coming back towards the sky, back towards the wall behind us. Head relaxes down. And as you inhale, nose, chin, breastbone, let the breastbone follow that chin. Continue to let that body come forward in between the armpits, and then let the sit bones go wide. Reversing that, sit bones come to the knee pits, rolling through one bone at a time. Almost like you're doing that bridge. No squeezing anywhere, just make it nice and smooth. This is your little check-in, making sure that you're keeping everything nice and easy. And then coming back into your center line. Good. All right, so from here, what I'm going to get you to do is sit your bottom back onto your heels. Now you can have your knees as close together as far apart, I should say, and bring your shoulders on top of your hips. So everything's stacked up nice and tall. From here, I'm going to get you to lean back. So if you create a line from your fingertips to your shoulders, we're going to create that line with our body. A little lean back, elongating your spine as you lift the pelvis up in line with your knees. And then lowering yourself back down. Should be a nice amount of work, eccentric work on your quads. So lifting the pelvis up and lowering yourself back down. Just one more. Lifting the pelvis up, keeping that breath, and lowering yourself back down. Wonderful. Swing yourself around, put your head at the other end of your mat if you're still facing me, and we're going to come into that side lying position. Elbow underneath shoulder, hips stacked in line with yourself as well. Oh, my phone keeps switching off. So we're in this position here, feet in line with the rest of the body. Take that hand up towards the sky. Inhale. Exhale, take that hand to the floor. Now think of your fingers coming to meet your elbows. You're going to pause here and you're going to take another inhale. Fill that space in between your shoulder blades. As you exhale, pause and see if you can get a little bit more rotation, gently pressing away from the floor, not forcing anything. And then you're going to inhale, unrotate or derotate. Exhale, spiral again. Inhale, gentle pressure into the floor. Exhale, pause here and see if you can get a little bit more of a stretch. Inhale, float that hand up. One more, exhale, twist. Inhale, press. Exhale, hold. And then inhale, arm comes back up to the sky. And down to the side. Bring your hand underneath your head, point yourself forward, and take your top leg nice and long. Print your foot onto the wall below you, I should say. Keep your pelvis in that neutral position. So just watch for any shift in your pelvis here as you extend that leg long. The leg should be in line with you, but you might find that that then tips you into an anterior tilt. So have a play around, see if you can control this whilst putting the leg in the position that we want it. All right, so from here you're going to lift and lower. And again, lift and lower. Now, rather than just lifting, think of reaching it as far as you can away, at the same time as almost pulling your thigh bone back into you. One more. And lower. Lift just a little bit and we're going to slide it forward on that table. So you're going to draw that thigh bone forward, toes reaching forward and coming back behind you. Now you can choose to point the foot here behind you if you wish. Flexing as you come forward. Inhale. And exhale. Check there's no other tone through your jaw, through your ribs, through your bottom. And taking it forward. And taking it back. I feel like I'm going red. I'm breathing. It's just hard work. One more. And then taking it back. And little pulses up from here. You have 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice work. Take that foot on top of the other. Come up onto your elbow. You can use your hand here to secure that foot if you wish. Extend your other leg long, reaching that heel away from you. You're going to lift here. So lifting that bottom leg up and back down. And again, 2, and down, and again, 3, and down. 2 more, exhale. Keeping everything else nice and quiet, watching those rib flares. Good, holding at the top, you're going to take that foot forward and back. Energy out through that heel and forward. Exhale back and forward. Exhale back. 1 more forward and exhale back. 10 little pulses up. You've got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. Well done. Come up onto your hands and knees. This time a little bit different here. Same setup as before. Fingers nice and wide. A little grip through the fingers. Creases of your elbows pointing in. That little squeeze together. That's it. And pelvis and ribs in neutral. And then from here, I'm going to get you to take the one side. Just choose one side. You choose. Take that leg back behind you, all 5 toenails on the floor. Checking that we haven't changed the movement of our pelvis. There hasn't been a big shift to the side. We're nice and still here. Good. Float the leg back in underneath you and make sure it comes all the way back to its starting position. Take the other leg back, slide it nice and long. And then bringing that leg back in underneath you as well. If you wish to advance, you can float that leg back and up. And as you float up, it's more of that reach away like we did in our side glute series. And then sliding it back in. Keeping the weight as even as you can on the hands and the opposite knee. Imagining you're in a nice tight corridor, so 2 shoulders, 2 hips touching the sides. So there's not a huge shift side to side as you lift that leg in your quadruped. That's it. 1 more on each side. Using your breath, exhale as you take the leg up just to maintain a little bit more control. Nice work. Sit your bottom back to your heels, take some pressure off the wrists, reach the arms forward and take your forehead or your third eye towards the floor. See if here you can just relax the bottom, relax the tummy and let the bottom fall to the heels. Take both arms over to your right side. Shine both armpits to the floor. And take both arms over to the left or to the other side. And again, shining both armpits to the floor. Just notice if you feel a tightness on one side and not the other. Come back into center. Bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. We're going to do a little knee lift here. So tuck the toes, bring the knees and heels, big toes, everything together. Find your upper body position before floating the knees just 1 centimeter off the floor. And literally just 1 centimeter. From here, you're going to do a little rotation. So I want you to think of kissing one knee to the ground, followed by the other. Like a shimmy for your pelvis. Keep your sit bones pointing behind you rather than letting them flare upwards. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 2 knees to the floor and bring yourself back. That's it. Nice work. Okay, so from here, just a little stretch for our quads. You're going to bring 1 foot forward in front of the other knee, so not too close. Take your hands behind you. Roll your pelvis down towards your knee pit and then float the pelvis up. Check that the knee hasn't escaped and it's not flying out to the side. So draw it in towards the opposite side. Open up through the front of the chest without popping the ribs here. So keeping the front body nice and long, back body nice and long. Use your breath to help release the stretch. Bottom comes down, body comes forward, knees come back together, other side, foot comes forward, hands come back. Roll the sit bones down to the knee pit and float the bottom up. Little stretch for the front thigh. And then bottom comes down, knees come back together. Bring your hands to your knees, round through your ribs. Try and draw back those low ribs, not just through our main thoracic spine here. Try and see if you can get a little bit of an axis lower. Very good at that top bit. And then bring yourself up. Just a little finish of a stretch to your neck. So you're going to take your hand underneath your collarbone, place the other hand on top, little bit of pressure into the body, a little drag down towards your waist, turn your head away from your hand, close your teeth together and tilt your head back over your shoulder. And then find your breath again. Bring yourself back to center. Hands come to the other side, underneath your collarbone. Turn your head, close your teeth, tilt your head back over your shoulder. And then bring yourself back to center. Well done, everyone.